Welcome to What's Math. Please subscribe to my channel, like and share my videos. This video will focus on rational expressions with an emphasis on multiplying. Step 1. Factor each numerator and denominator if possible. Step 2. Cancel matching parentheses or factors, and it must be a top with a matching bottom. Step 3. Multiply if necessary. Most of the time, you won't need to multiply. Example. Multiply x squared plus 7x plus 12 all over x squared plus 6x plus 8 multiplied by x squared plus 8x plus 12 all over x squared plus 11x plus 30. Let's remind everyone of the steps. First, I need to factor. If you have any issue with factoring or you need more clarification at the end of this video, please go ahead and check out my videos on factoring quadratics. So what do I want to know for the first expression in the top? What two numbers that multiply to give me 12, but when I add them, I get 7. So I'm reading it backwards. It's one of the few situations in math where we read backwards. Those two numbers are 4 and 3. Because 4 times 3 is 12 and 4 plus 3 is 7. And since it's a positive C, both sign has to be the same and it's a sign of B. B is a positive 7, so both are positive. So therefore, the top will be x plus 3 times x plus 4. In the bottom, I want to know two numbers that multiply to give me 8, but when I add them, I get 6. Those two numbers are 4 and 2. And since it's a positive C and a positive B, both numbers will be positive. So in the bottom, I will have x plus 4 times x plus 2. For the top, I want to know what two numbers multiply to give me 12, but when I add them, I get 8. Those two numbers are 6 and 2. And since it's a positive C and a positive B, both factors will be positive. So therefore, I will have x plus 2 times x plus 6. In the bottom, I want to know what two numbers multiply to give you 30, but when you add them, you get 11. And those two numbers are 5 and 6. Since it's a positive C and a positive B, then in the bottom, I should have x plus 5 and x plus 6. And by the way, you can check them. 5 plus 6 is 11. 5 times 6 is positive 30. That's how you check them. Let's do another check. Let's start off with the first one on the top. 3 plus 4 is 7, and 3 times 4 is 12. Step 2, we want to cancel, and it has to be a matching top with a matching bottom. I like to start reading from the top, going from left to right, and cancel out if there's one in the bottom. So the first one is x plus 3, and there's no x plus 3 in the bottom, so I move on to the next, which is x plus 4. There's one in the top and there's one in the bottom, so therefore they cancel each other out. Remember, it has to be a top with a bottom, and it doesn't matter in which expression is located, as long as it's a top and a bottom. The next one is x plus 2. There's one in the top and there's one in the bottom, so therefore they cancel out. And there's an x plus 6 in the top and there's an x plus 6 in the bottom, so they also cancel each other out. So I'm left with x plus 3 over x plus 5, and that is my final answer. There is nothing for me to multiply the n, so that is the answer right there. Example. Multiply x squared plus 3x minus 40 all over x squared minus 64 times x squared minus 9 all over x squared minus 8x plus 15. Let's recap on the rules or steps. We need to factor, then cancel, and then multiply if necessary. So the first thing I want to do is to factor the numerators and the denominator if possible. So what do I want to know? Going from left to right in the top, I want to know what two numbers multiply to give me 40, but if I subtract, I get 3. And those two numbers are 8 and 5. Now, because it's a negative C, one has to be positive and one has to be negative. How do you know which one is which? You focus on the largest factor. The largest factor will always take the sign of B. So 8 being the biggest factor will take the sign of B is a plus 3, so the 8 is positive and the 5 is negative. So it'll be x minus 5 times x plus 8, and you can check it. Negative 5 plus 8 is 3, negative 5 times 8 is negative 40. The bottom is a difference of 2 squared. So what do I want to know? I want to know what is the square root of the first term and what's the square root of the second term. The square root of x squared is x, and the square root of 64 is 8. One parentheses always get a plus, and the other parentheses always get a minus. They have to be different sign for the middle to cancel out. So therefore, it's going to be x plus 8 times x minus 8. The top is a difference of 2 squared. Is x squared minus 9. So I want to know what's the square root of x squared, which is x. And I also want to know what's the square root of 9, which is 3. One will get a plus and the other will get a minus. So it'll be x plus 3 times x minus 3. In the bottom, I want to know what two numbers multiply to give me 15, but when I add them, I get 8. Those two numbers are 5 and 3. Since it's a positive C, they both must have the same sign, and it's a sign of B. B is negative, so therefore both factors are negative. So it'll be x minus 3 times x minus 5. You can double check. Minus 3 minus 5 is negative 8. Negative 3 times negative 5 is positive 15. Now we need to cancel out. And remember, it must be a top with a matching bottom, and it doesn't matter in which expression is located. So I'm going to start off in the top. Is a x minus 5 in the top, and there's also one in the bottom, so therefore they cancel. The next one is a x plus 8 in the top, and there's also an x plus 8 in the bottom, so they cancel each other out. The next one is an x plus 3, but there's no x plus 3 in the bottom, so we leave it alone. The next one is x minus 3, and there's an x minus 3 in the bottom, so therefore they cancel out each other. Now I'm left with x plus 3 over x minus 8, and there's nothing for me to multiply, so that is my final answer. Let's go ahead and check for understanding. Multiply x squared minus 10x plus 24 all over x squared plus 3x minus 28 times x squared plus 10x plus 21 all over x squared minus 3x minus 18. Solution. Multiply x squared minus 10x plus 24 all over x squared plus 3x minus 28 times x squared plus 10x plus 21 all over x squared minus 3x minus 18. The first thing I want to do is to factor. So in the top, I want to know what two numbers multiply to give me 24, but they add to 10. And those two numbers are 6 and 4. And since it's a positive C and a negative B, both signs are the same. And both of them would be negative because the B is negative. So in the top, I should have x minus 6 times x minus 4. You can double check. negative 6 minus 4 is negative 10. Negative 6 times negative 4 is positive 24. In the bottom, I want to know what two numbers multiply to give me 28, but when I subtract them, I get 3. Those two numbers are 7 and 4. Since it's a negative C, one has to be positive and one has to be negative. The biggest factor will always take the sign of B, so it's a positive B, so therefore 7, the biggest factor, has to be positive. So it's going to be x plus 7 times x minus 4. Double check. 7 minus 4 is 3. 7 times negative 4 is negative 28. Let's go to the top. Two numbers multiply to give me 21, but when I add them, it gives me 10. Those two numbers are 7 and 3. Since it's a positive C and a positive B, both of them has to be positive. So I have x plus 3 times x plus 7. In the bottom, I want to know what two numbers multiply to give me 18, but if I subtract, I get 3. And those two numbers are 6 and 3. Now, since it's a negative B, we know that one is positive and one is negative. The biggest factor, which is 6 in this case, will take the sign of B, and B is negative 3, so therefore it's a negative 6, but a positive 3. So in the bottom, I will have x plus 3 times x minus 6. Now I need to cancel. And remember, it has to be a top with a matching bottom, and it could be in any expression. So the first one is x minus 6 in the top, and there's also 1 in the bottom, so they cancel out. X minus 4 in the top, and there's 1 in the bottom, so they also cancel each other out. There's an x plus 3 in the top, and there's an x plus 3 in the bottom, so we have them cancel. Just like the x plus 7. And when we take a good look, we notice that everything cancels from the top, and everything cancels from the bottom. Remember, if all cancel out, we put a 1. So therefore, it's going to be 1, because it's 1 over 1 is just 1. And that's the final answer. Please subscribe to my channel, click that little bell for further notification, like and share my videos. If you like what you saw in the video, feel free to buy me a cup of coffee. It's not mandatory, but thank you in advance.